Bill Nye the Science Guy has always been a champion of curiosity, igniting our imagination about space, science, and the future. For weeks, whispers had been circulating in the scientific community. Quiet rumors. Hushed speculations. And then, without warning, a single image from the James Webb Space Telescope swept across the internet. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. But it stopped people cold. This image, subtle yet profound, didn't just spark curiosity. It rattled experts. Seasoned astronomers who have stared into the void for decades found themselves speechless. The image wasn't like the vivid portraits of the Carina Nebula or the iconic pillars of creation. No, this was something else. Something older. Darker, colder, and stranger. This region of space had long been considered uneventful, just more dust, more black. But Webb, with its unmatched infrared sensitivity, peered through the dust. And what it saw wasn't a dying star, or a galaxy, or anything remotely familiar. It was a vast, symmetrical formation. A structure. Not shaped by chaos, but by order. It looked designed. At first, NASA and ESA officials stayed silent. Scientific teams referred to it only as a non-stellar anomaly, but the terminology was deliberately vague. Behind closed doors, discussions intensified. The structure, clearly visible in the mid-infrared spectrum, defied everything we know about how the universe behaves. The cosmos builds through randomness, clouds collapse, stars explode, black holes distort and devour. But this? This wasn't random. It was geometric. A lattice. A grid. Spanning light years. Perfect angles. Repeating patterns. The kind of precision we associate with engineering, not with nature. It gave off almost no visible light. Reflected almost nothing. And yet there it was, eerily crisp in the image. Silent, imposing, ancient. Then Bill Nye spoke. He didn't go to the media. He didn't make a YouTube announcement or a flashy social post. He appeared, unannounced, at a planetary science symposium. The room, filled with experts, fell silent. This wasn't the playful science communicator we remembered from TV. This was someone deeply moved. Almost disturbed. He didn't use the word alien, he didn't declare it artificial. But he focused heavily on what it meant, on what it could mean. That perhaps our understanding of cosmic evolution was incomplete. That maybe something, or someone, had shaped this part of the universe long before Earth was even a thought. This wasn't just another space oddity. It was a direct challenge to everything we assume about how the universe works. You see, space isn't supposed to build in lines. Nature doesn't make perfect geometry on a galactic scale. And yet, there it was. Parallel structures. Uniform spacing. A density gradient that suggested not chaos, but control. Something made it this way, or something influenced it. Further analysis brought more questions. The infrared data showed emissions at exact frequencies, almost like signals. Not radio waves. Not anything we've seen before. Some researchers proposed exotic matter or a previously unknown interaction between dark matter and baryonic structures. But those were just educated guesses. Placeholders. No current model explains what we're looking at. Then came the biggest shock. Redshift analysis revealed the structure's age. It's not just old. It's ancient. Billions of years older than most galaxies we can observe today. Older than our Sun. Older than Earth. If this structure was natural, it would be the first known instance of the universe spontaneously forming something this vast and ordered. And if it's not natural, then its existence implies intelligence. That alone shook the foundations of the Copernican principle, the idea that Earth and humanity are not in any special position in the universe. For decades we've assumed life is rare. That intelligence is recent. That the universe is mostly indifferent. But this image? This structure? It hints at something else entirely. That the universe may not just be filled with stars and dust, but with relics. Artifacts. Maybe even messages. Nye didn't speculate wildly. He grounded his remarks in caution and humility. But he made it clear, this isn't just a scientific curiosity. This is something that forces us to rethink everything. If this formation is real, and there's no indication it's a glitch, then we may be looking at the first real evidence of something bigger than us. Not just in scale, but in intent. Why would such a structure exist at all? Why now? Why here? Some speculated that it was cloaked, hidden until now, only revealed because of the Webb telescope's capabilities, or perhaps, it became visible because of something else. A change in space itself. Others wondered, what if Webb didn't just find it? What if it triggered something? Fringe theories? Maybe. But in the absence of better explanations, they gained attention. Astronomers raced to examine older data. Could similar structures have been captured before, just missed due to weaker resolution? Were there patterns we overlooked? It was possible, likely, even, that we'd been staring at something for years, without realizing its meaning. And then, the philosophical questions began. What if this has something to do with the Great Filter, the idea that civilizations either self-destruct or evolve beyond recognition? What if the filter isn't extinction, but transformation? What if civilizations reach a point where they no longer build ships and send signals, but instead reshape space itself? The implications are staggering. If this structure was created, then the civilization that made it must have operated on a scale we can't even fathom. It wouldn't just be advanced, it would be cosmic. Capable of altering the fabric of space, building with dark matter, using energy sources beyond anything we've conceived. Suddenly, agencies across the globe paid attention. Not because the structure posed a threat, but because the very knowledge of it changes everything. It shifts the paradigm. If intelligent forces shaped the universe billions of years ago, then the assumption that we're alone in a passive, unaltered cosmos no longer holds. Even if this thing is abandoned, even if it's a ruin, it carries a message. You are not the first. For Nye, this was personal. He's spent his life making science approachable. Inspiring kids to look up and ask, what's out there? Now, he was the one asking. And the questions were heavier than ever. Could this be a remnant of something greater? Could it still be active in ways we don't understand? Or is it simply the first visible thread in a tapestry far beyond our perception? He urged the world to stay grounded, not to leap to alien conclusions, but not to dismiss the mystery either. Scientific discovery thrives on uncertainty, on tension, on moments like this. The structure quickly earned nicknames, the array, the cosmic lattice, even the skeleton of God. But underneath the names, scientists got to work. Physicists modeled the formation. Could magnetic fields create this? Could exotic particles form stable structures? Every simulation failed to explain both the symmetry and scale. And then, deeper scans revealed something more disturbing. The structure wasn't alone. It was part of a larger field. A repeating pattern. A network. One that might stretch far beyond what Webb can currently see. The possibility hit like a tidal wave. What if the universe isn't random at all? What if, beneath the dust and chaos, there's a grid? A framework? What if everything we thought was natural disorder is just camouflage? And so, the biggest question of all emerged. What if the universe itself is engineered? Not metaphorically, not spiritually, literally. What if space-time has structure, not the kind defined by physics textbooks but by design? Skeptics pushed back, and rightly so. Patterns can be illusions. Our brains are wired to find meaning where none exists. Gravitational lensing, line-of-sight effects, chance alignments. These can all deceive us. But Webb's resolution makes mistakes less likely. And this image, this anomaly, isn't going away. For Bill Nye, for the astronomers, physicists, philosophers, and thinkers now grappling with this, it's not about answers. Not yet. It's about recognizing the boundary we may have just crossed. The image doesn't scream. It whispers. It whispers that maybe, just maybe, we've seen the first hint of something much greater than ourselves. Not a threat. Not a miracle. But a truth so vast, so old, and so complex, we are only beginning to comprehend its scale. And that is more than enough to change everything.